Even though 2028 is a long ways away, I still don't think it's ever too early to see the potential presidential matchups between whoever the Democrat candidate will be and whoever the Republican candidate will be. Obviously, in 2028, there's no incumbent president because Trump will be termed out. So we're going to have primaries in both parties. So it's definitely going to be an interesting year. This hasn't happened like this since 2016, where the incumbent wasn't running again. Unless you want to count last year where Joe Biden dropped out because he wanted to. So this will be an interesting year. There's going to be a lot of debates, a lot of people trying to come for the presidency. There's probably going to be a lot of people in both primaries trying to get their name out there. And what we've already seen already, especially on the Democrat side, is a lot of Democrats trying to basically grab attention in any way, shape, and form they can so people will think about them during this primary process. Because right now, the Republican Party is more solidified right now who the candidate most likely will be. The Democrat Party is 100% up for grabs, and they're all acting like they have a chance. So before we dive into this, make sure you like, comment down below who you think the candidates will be, and subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of content. So let's jump on in. So the Democrat polling right now as of August 1st, so 5 days ago, this is on racetothewhitehouse.com, has Kamala Harris at 21%. So she was the candidate who lost the election last year, so her name's still going to be high up. Pete Buttigieg is a name that's been rising a lot. He's trying to give off this more like moderate vibe, but I don't know if a lot of people are going to fall for it going forward because at the end of the day, he's not really he's more moderate than a lot of far left people, but I wouldn't still call him a moderate. Gavin Newsom, he's a sleazy salesman, but a lot of people like him for whatever reason. He flip-flops on a lot of his views. You've definitely seen him like when he was debating Charlie Kirk, all of a sudden he was this moderate guy, and then he went back to this extreme leftist, and they went back to moderates. He basically will say whatever it takes to get into power. But what Gavin Newsom is very good at is, like I said, he's a sleazy car salesman. He can make you believe anything. He is a very good speaker. He's a very good debater. So I don't think he should be underestimated at all. You got Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, at 11.9%. She is personally someone who I think is very popular among her party, especially the youth in her party. She's more of a far left person. But would she be able to win independents in an election and the moderate voters? I don't think so. And she's also still really young too. I don't know if she'll run this time. Maybe she'll wait till next time. We'll see. Tim Walz, he's a joke. I think more and more his name gets out there, more talks, people realize like this is not a serious candidate. Cory Booker, he's one that's getting high up now because he did that whole, what was it, 25-hour filibuster thing to get his attention out there, and then conveniently 2 weeks later announced a book all about that filibuster. You know, nothing like doing something for attention and profiting off it, right? So he's up there. He ran for president in 2020. He was one of like 15 Democrats that ran. I think he might have been top 10. I don't think he was top 5. Another one who I think could be a serious contender is Josh Shapiro. I think Josh Shapiro comes off more moderate. He does represent a swing state, and he was able to win a swing state, so he can pull voters from the other side. And he is a very good speaker too. This is honestly who Kamala Harris should have picked for her VP, and I think they would have probably got more votes and a bigger chance. But instead they picked Dum Dum here because he drinks Diet Mountain Dew. So I think that was a mistake on her part. I think he's a good contender too for the Democratic Party. And I think his polling will go up higher, especially if he enters the primary, starts debating all these other leftists. And then you have all these, like, I guess you say honorable mentions. Mark Cuban's an interesting one. I don't think he'll run, but I think that would be kind of interesting seeing that, like, Trump was the outsider billionaire coming into it. Now he could be the outsider billionaire on the other side. That would be interesting. Gretchen Whitmer, I don't think a lot of Democrats like her. I don't see why, but I don't think she'll run. Elizabeth Warren, honestly, I think she will. I think she can be 90 years old and run for president. She ran in I think she ran in 2020. I don't think she ran in 2016. She ran in 2020. She pulled pretty high, but she is getting old and she's got a lot of wacko ideas. Roy Cooper from North Carolina is a good one. He's moderate, but I think he's running for senator this year, so he probably won't run for presidency 2 years after the Senate race. Mark Kelly, he was another guy who was Kamala Harris VP hopeful. I don't know if he will. J.B. Pritzker, I think will. Also a billionaire governor of Illinois. So I think he 100% will. He's been getting his name out there a lot. He's been talking to people a lot. He's been trying to be this anti-Trump guy. I'm for the middle class, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, John Fetterman. I don't think he'll run. He's honestly... It's crazy. He's actually, because John Fetterman actually is open to talking with Trump and talking with the other side, which few Democrats are. His party actually does not like him because he's willing. But that's what you're supposed to do in politics. You're supposed to be able to talk to the other side, negotiate with the other side, debate the other side. He's actually willing to do that. And I will say, give him credit, when he was debating Dr. Oz back in, 2022 for the Senate race. He was just recovering from a stroke. I was like, this dude's not a serious candidate. Give him credit. He speaks a lot better now. He sounds a lot better when he speaks. He still wears those stupid outfits. But I don't think he'll run, though. Andy Beshear, he's another one people talk about a lot. The governor from Kentucky. He's a Democrat governor of a red state, probably one of the most red states in the country. So he appeals to like that moderate. But I don't know if that would translate. I mean, it could translate to presidency. I think he's termed out in 2026. So we'll see going forward. So those are all the candidates. So what's interesting is the polling trend. So Kamala Harris, she even admitted the other day on Stephen Colbert that basically ever since the election, she hasn't really paid attention to politics at all. If you want to be a serious political contender or presidential contender, even if it's this early on, you need to be in the news cycle all the time, or at least paying attention to what's going on. You need to at least give off the vibe that you care about the American people. Like when you go into hiding, I understand she's probably upset she lost the election, blah, blah, blah. When you go into hiding like that for months, you're not talking to the American people. You're not even putting out tweets. You're not even getting your intern to tweet for you that often. You know, that's not a good look for you. It's going to show people that you truly do not care. And I think her polling here shows that. Like she was about 35% around April 1st. And then she's just been dropping like a rock since then, down to 21% just a few months later. And then you have other people like Buttigieg. He's been out and about talking, going on podcasts. He's up there. Newsom, right here. He's started his own podcast. He's been out and about. He's been big anti-Trump. He's on there. AOC still right up there. It seems like once Harris started going down, a bunch of them got a boost in popularity. Booker, this was about when he did that 25-hour thing, and then he started to go down. Waltz and Shapiro stayed about the same. They haven't really moved at all. So, and you can see some of these different pollings. So, like this one right here, Harris is only 14% below Buttigieg and AOC and Newsom. Right here, Harris 13%, Buttigieg 16%. So, and here, Harris 17%, Buttigieg 32%, AOC 19%. I understand Kamala Harris didn't run for governor of California, so that makes people think she's going to run president again. I don't think she will. I personally do not think she will. She just got a book deal where she's making millions of dollars. She's set. Her husband's rich. I think they're going to sit around, talk once in a while. I don't think she's going to run again. She would get absolutely obliterated in the primaries by people like Buttigieg, Newsom, all these other people that can actually speak and talk. She can't. She couldn't even do an interview with Stephen Colbert without doing that insane laugh. She couldn't even answer any questions. She couldn't do it in the primary in 2020 either. She was picked because she was a black woman, and I don't think she'll be good. So I think her and her team will realize that, and I don't think she'll run. So it's really a matter of all these candidates here. So let's look at the Republican. Like I said, the Republican's a lot more solidified. J.D. Vance, unless something crazy happens in the next 2 years, will most likely be the nominee. I think this Donald Trump Jr. thing is like a joke. No, if Donald Trump Jr. runs, I'm not voting for him. He's not the same thing as Donald Trump. It's not the same candidate, not the same person. DeSantis, I could see running again because he's termed out of governor in 2026. So obviously he needs a job, right? He needs something to do. And a lot of the establishment does like him. So I think there'll be a lot of establishment pushback or a push to get him through, like in 2024 when he's running against Trump. I don't think it'll be enough, though. I think DeSantis is an amazing governor. I think he's done wonders for Florida. But he's not good at going out of his comfort zone. And I feel like, only good at debating people when he knows he can win a debate. Like he was good against Gavin Newsom. In the Republican primaries, he was good at attacking Nikki Haley and Tim Scott. But who he struggled with was Vivek Ramaswamy. He never attacked Vivek. It was so hard for him to do that. Just like if he ever debated Trump and Trump would have annihilated him. So I think JD Vance would annihilate him too. So I think he'll still run, but I don't think he's going to win. Marco Rubio is an interesting one. I do think Marco Rubio will run. There's been a lot of talks about JD Vance being the president and Marco Rubio being the VP. There's a good chance there. I think Trump basically renewed Marco Rubio's popularity because Rubio ran in 2016 and he came off very soft, like not serious, like this dude's not gonna stand up to anyone. And then over the years in the Senate too, like he comes off very soft. He's definitely been like the past year when he's been helping Trump and stuff, past 6 months or whatever, he's been a lot more aggressive than I have ever seen him. So if he could keep that up, he'll probably run. Like I think he'd be a good VP. RFK Jr. I don't think he's running. I think if JD Vance wins the presidency in 2028, they'll keep RFK in his position and keep him doing what he's doing. I think he's good there. I think RFK has a lot of work to do, and I think he's going to need more than 4 years. So I hope he stays in that position. Nikki Haley, I think, will run. I don't think she's a serious candidate because she's a warmonger. She lies all the time. Like she's just not serious. Same with Chris Christie. Chris Christie is a professional. I'm going to run for president and lose, but I'm going to make money off of it and get attention for it, and I'm anti-Trump. That's Chris Christie's whole identity. He ran in 2016. He ran in 2024. He's not a serious candidate. Vivek Ramaswamy, I think people need to watch out. I know he's running for governor of Ohio 2026. He might wait to run for presidency. He'll probably win the governor race. It'll be interesting. But I think he should be polling a little higher. Huckabee Sanders, I don't think will run. I think she's going to stay at her governor in Arkansas, where it seems, from what I've seen, she's doing pretty good. Ted Cruz, he might run, but I think he's ruined his reputation. Which I understand, like whenever something happens in Texas, he seems like he's always on vacation, which I guess, when you're planning your vacations months in advance, you can't really time that right. You can't plan that. There's events happening in Texas, but it's definitely not a good look. Plus the whole Tucker destroyed him in that debate, and he's just that popularity. I don't think he's ever going to get back. Like back in 2016, he was basically right neck and neck with Trump. That's not coming back. Tim Scott, I could see running again. I don't think. I like Tim Scott sometimes, but I don't like him sometimes. Like I think he's a good senator. I think he makes a lot of good points where when they were asking them in the 2024 primary about raising the retirement age, and Nikki Haley and DeSantis were like, yes, we need to do it. He was like, he came up there and made sense. He's like, it's easy for us who work at DC as office people pretty much to raise the retirement age, but you're going to sit there and tell a farmer and a truck driver and all these people that need to work longer. That's not right. So I think he's good in that sense. He's a little hard when it comes to, he loves funding Ukraine, which I'm not a fan of. But I think he could run again. Carrie Lake, I don't think people would take her serious if she ran. She pretty much loses every election she does. Byron Donalds, I don't think he's going to run because a lot of people think he's running for governor of Florida, which I think he is. I don't know if he's announced it yet. He'll probably win that unless DeSantis' wife runs. Then it's probably neck and neck. A lot of people probably think, though, if DeSantis' wife is running, it'll probably just be DeSantis 2.0, which people do like DeSantis. So if they think DeSantis is, influencing that in its kind of way, that might help her. And Byron Donalds, I like a lot what he says, but he's not present a lot. Like they did someone found this study or statistics that showed that out of candidates in the House or House members for voting, like when they come to vote for bills and stuff, he has missed the most votes out of all House members if you exclude like women giving birth or people getting surgery. Like healthy people in the House, he's missed the most votes, which is not a good look. So he needs to show up more, be more vocal if he ever wants a chance of being president and a chance of being governor. Kristi Noem, I don't think is running. If JD Vance wins, I think she'll stay in her spot. Glenn Youngkin's an interesting one because he can't run for governor of Virginia again. He did a lot of good things in Virginia. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like his protege is probably going to win. I think that's probably more poor campaigning on her part. But I think he might run. I would be interested in that, to see that if he doesn't run for like maybe the Senate seat or anything like that in the state. So if we look at the polling trends, yeah, JD Vance ever since the election has just, once he was announced VP right here, look, he's been off. And like I said, JD Vance is a really good speaker. I think he's a really good candidate. I think he'd be a really good presidential candidate for 2028. I wish, I understand as the VP, you're kind of like the president's sidekick. You kind of just say whatever the president says, blah, blah. I wish he was more vocal. Like he still does podcasts once in a while. He went on Theo Von like a month ago. But I still wish he was a little more outspoken and, kind of taking a little more control. You see Trump Jr., like, this is obviously a joke one. He started polling here. He's only going down. He's going to keep going down. It's not a serious candidate. Here's Rubio. Saying was, look, 2%, and he's going up. He's getting popularity because, like I said, he's doing pretty good in his role. But I think he's more of a VP candidate. And you can see all the polling here. It's more than likely, like I said, if anything crazy happens, it's going to be Vance. Now, there is some polling showing hypothetical matchups for 2028. So it's got excluding Harris, it's got the big three of Democrat candidates, Buttigieg, AOC, and Newsom. And there's a lot of undecided voters, but as of right now, JD Vance is beating all of them. The closest one is Buttigieg. So I honestly think, it's going to be hard to say. Buttigieg can speak really well. I think Vance would probably still win a debate. AOC, I don't think could handle a debate with Vance. And Newsom is a very good debater, even when he lies through his teeth. So that would be an interesting one to see, Newsom versus Vance, because they're both really good debating. But there's a lot of undecided here. So there's still a lot of time. We don't know, but as of right now, there's a lot up for grabs in the Democratic Party, and the Republican Party is pretty much set. But there are people that aren't on these pollings that could run that we don't even know about or aren't even thinking of. No, I'm not saying Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, I think, knows his time he's a little too old for that role right now. But there's people like Jasmine Crockett's been vocal out there, so she, might throw her hat in the ring. There's other people out there that are very outspoken and maybe like try to give it a shot, but I don't know. There's a lot still. It's still a long ways away. But let me know what you guys think in the comments of the polling and who you guys would like to see run for president, or who you think is going to win, or the candidates are going to be. You make sure you like, subscribe, comment in the video down below, and I'll see you next time.